My wife cheated with the man who once tried to ruin my career. Now he's in my bed. She let him in. They took everything I built, but I planned the ultimate revenge. I used to believe 30 years of marriage meant something. That raising 2 sons, sharing a life, keeping to the same side of the bed created something unshakable. I was wrong. My name is Derek Callahan, industrial design engineer, father of 2. Until yesterday, husband to a woman I thought I knew. Our brick colonial in suburban Richmond wasn't extravagant, but it was ours. Nearly paid off. The lawn pristine, family photos lining the hallway. Lauren and I weren't perfect, but we were. Solid, or so I told myself staring at hotel ceilings on business trips. Our sons had grown into men. Cody, 23, had his mother's looks and my temper, quick to ignite but just as quick to forgive. Elliot, 21, was deep into his doctoral work. In marine engineering, quieter but determined. I should have noticed the signs. Lauren started taking calls in another room, working late. A new cologne on our sheets. My brain dismissed it all, until I came home early. I was supposed to be in Des Moines. My meeting got canceled. I took an earlier flight thinking I'd surprise her, maybe lunch. Instead, I walked into my own execution. Her car was in the driveway at 11:30 a.m. on a Wednesday. The front door was unlocked. Upstairs, I heard sounds I recognized from decades of marriage, but wrong. My feet moved forward while my mind refused to accept it. The bedroom door was ajar. One push, and there they were, Lauren and Russell Pomeroy, her boss, naked, in our bed. The bed where we conceived our sons. The bed I built with my own hands. Russell saw me first. Smug, balding, pasty. His dress shirt draped over my reading chair. The look on his face didn't last long. I didn't scream, didn't throw things, just walked up, grabbed a fistful of his thinning hair, and dragged him to the floor. 3 precise punches, methodical like tightening bolts. "I'll sue you for assault," he spat through bloody lips. "Go ahead, just be sure to explain." "Why you lost those teeth?" Lauren clutched the sheet, sobbing. "Derek, please, I can explain." I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing. 30 years turned to ash. I walked out. An hour later, I sat in my truck in a Walmart parking lot, bourbon burning my throat. My phone buzzed nonstop. On the 20th ring, I answered. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "It was a mistake. Just once. Please don't leave me. Once is enough to erase 30 years. I hung up. She didn't just sleep with him in my bed. She killed the man who believed in her. By morning, I made my decision. I couldn't face her. I needed distance, not just space, but a complete severance from the life I knew. "I'm taking the boat," I told my business partner, Hank. "Maybe head down the coast. The Salt Runner, my escape plan. A 33-foot Grady white cabin cruiser. It was supposed to be our retirement dream. Now it was mine alone. "What about the Carson project?" Hank asked. "You can handle it." That night I packed my supplies, memories attacked from every angle. Meeting Lauren in college, her laughter, the way she said, "I only need you." Had she meant it, or was I just the safe option? Cody called. "Dad, what the hell? Mom's been crying nonstop. She says she doesn't know what happened. Don't take sides when you don't know the whole story." "What story? Nobody's telling me anything." "It'll come out soon enough." He hung up. Minutes later, Elliot called. "Dad, I figured you must have your reasons." "Thank you, son. Will you tell me what happened?" "When I'm ready." After his call, I sat on the deck, bourbon in hand, watching darkness settle over the marina. My phone rang again. Hank. Russell's making waves, threatening to press charges, whispering in the exec board's ear. I laughed, a hollow sound. 10 years ago, I beat him for the Keystone bid. Cost him his chief engineering job. You think this was planned? He never forgot. After hanging up, I stood at the bow. The Atlantic wind cut through me. The horizon stretched dark and uncertain, but open. "I'm going," I said to the night. "Not to run, to survive. Lauren's betrayal was just the opening move in Russell's game. He wanted more than my marriage. He wanted me ruined. But on the water, I could think. I could plan. And when the time came, I'd be ready. The Salt Runner's engines rumbled beneath me, steady and sure. By dawn, Richmond would be a memory. The open water, my only companion. Mist sprayed her face. "This is perfect," she'd said. "Just us and the water." On our 10th anniversary, she whispered over candlelight, "I don't need anything more than this. Just you." Had any of it been real? Or was I just a comfortable place to land between adventures? The signs had been there for months. The new jasmine perfume, late-night laptop sessions with a password lock, early morning yoga despite hating mornings. Her phone always face down when I entered the room. Was I too trusting? Or just too stupid? By the time I reached Nassau, curiosity won. After anchoring, I powered my phone for the first time in weeks. Dozens of voicemails, hundreds of texts. The last message from Lauren read, "I don't know how to apologize enough, but please don't disappear like this." I deleted them all. My only reply, "Don't look for me." The next morning, as I inspected the Salt Runner's hull, a woman's voice called from the dock. "Excuse me, do you know how to fix the water pump on Slip 14? She stood barefoot, early 30s, blonde hair in a loose ponytail, pale blue eyes shadowed with something unspoken. I fixed the pump. "It sticks sometimes," I said. She introduced herself. "Elena Whitaker, traveling with my parents, trying to forget my divorce. 7 years gone with a single betrayal." The word lingered between us. Over the next few days, she reappeared with questions, nautical charts, fishing spots. I answered at first curtly, then more freely. I didn't seek company, but I didn't mind hers. A week in, she asked, "Would you help navigate our chartered yacht to Rose Island? My father's arthritis is acting up. We'll pay. No payment needed." Her parents, Ben and Beth Whitaker, welcomed me like family. Ben, a retired engineer, assessed my seamanship without comment. Beth, a former teacher, fussed over everyone. By week's end, I'd agreed to help them explore the islands. One evening, as we cleaned fishing gear, Elena finally asked, "What brought you here alone?" I trusted someone who didn't deserve it. She nodded, needing no further explanation. Ratai. Silence understood more than words ever could. One night I lay on deck counting stars. Footsteps approached. "Room for one more stargazer?" Elena asked, settling beside me. Close enough to smell her coconut sunscreen. "You'll leave soon, won't you?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I don't have anywhere to go back to." She turned, moonlight silvering her face. "That makes two of us." Something stirred within me. Not desire, but possibility. Then my phone buzzed. The first time I'd turned it on since arriving. Hank's name. I let it go to voicemail, but the spell had broken. "I should go," Elena said. "My parents are early. Risers." At the edge of the dock, she paused. "Whatever happened back home, Derek, I hope you find peace with it." Hank's message was blunt. "Russell Pomeroy is forcing a board vote. Lauren hired a lawyer. You need to decide what you're fighting for." The anger I'd buried flared. I wouldn't make Russell's victory easy. Helping Ben adjust the yacht's navigation the next morning, my phone buzzed again. "Urgent," from Hank. "Derek, call me now. Russell filed assault charges. Court summons issued. This isn't optional." Reality crashed back at dinner, Elena noticed. "Bad news from home?" "Legal matters. I need to go back." Her eyes registered disappointment, but she nodded. "Sometimes we have to face what we're running from." "I'm not running," I corrected. "I'm regrouping." 2 days later, I docked in Virginia Beach. Richmond felt foreign. Gavin Frost's law office was sleek, sterile. His assistant, Raymond Cho, led me to a conference room. "You're remarkably calm for someone facing charges," he noted. "I didn't come to beg. I came to end this." Gavin, all business, reviewed the case. "You admit striking Pomeroy 3 times?" "Yes." "In your marital bed where you found him with your wife?" I nodded. "We'll argue temporary emotional distress, first offense, spotless record." I can get a PBJ ruling. PBJ? Probation before judgment, 5 years, no record if you stay clean. The hearing was swift. Judge Millstone, sharp-eyed, weighed us quickly. Russell sat across from me, a butterfly bandage on his temple. His lawyer whispered frantically. "How do you plead?" the judge asked. I struck Russell Pomeroy 3 times after finding him in bed with my wife. I acted in shock and anger. Her ruling was immediate. Probation before judgment. 5-year probation, no contact outside professional settings. As we exited, Russell's eyes met mine. He was sweating, unhappy. I allowed myself a cold smile. The next morning, Hank met me at his office. Now, he slid a folder across the desk, his face grim. The board's decision. They're terminating your position. Ethical violations, conduct unbecoming of an officer. I skimmed the paperwork, unsurprised. This had been Russell's endgame all along, not Lauren, but my career, my reputation. A setup from the start. Hank nodded. I think so too. Security footage shows him with Lauren that night. 3 lunches in the past weeks. He even pulled up your address on his computer. He knew exactly what he was doing. That evening, Hank brought another envelope to my hotel. Anonymous email. Thought you should see this. Inside was a dossier on Russell Pomeroy, his bitter defeat when I won the Keystone Project bid a decade ago, the very loss that cost him his chief engineer position. Worse, the email suggested he'd done this before, using the same tactics against 2 female employees at Hansley and Blake Engineering. He doesn't just want my wife, I whispered. He wants everything I have. My phone rang. Lauren. After weeks of ignoring her, I answered. Can we meet? Just to talk. We agreed on DeLuigi, a neutral spot downtown. She was already there when I arrived, eyes swollen, makeup smudged, clutching divorce papers. Thank you for coming. I know you don't owe me anything. One conversation, I said. She nodded, tears forming. I was stupid. I thought he loved me. But the second you left, he cut me off. Won't answer my calls, told people at work I pursued him. He never wanted you, I said flatly. He wanted revenge, and you gave him the perfect weapon, my trust in you. She flinched. It was just once, Derek. I can't take it back. You're right about that. I signed the papers without hesitation. Goodbye, Lauren. She grabbed my hand. 30 years. Does that mean nothing? I met her gaze. It meant everything. That's why this hurts so much. Then I walked away and never looked back. A week later, legal matters tentatively settled. I returned to Nassau. The betrayal still weighed on me, but now it felt more like a scar than an open wound. My marriage was over. I'd lost my home, my position, my standing in the community, yet somehow I felt lighter. I spent the first day cleaning the salt runner, scrubbing away weeks of neglect. As the sun set over Nassau Harbor, I gave myself 6 months. 6 months of solitude to rewrite whatever was left of my life. 3 days later, the harbor master posted storm warnings. A Category 4 hurricane was forming, its path cutting straight through the Bahamas. Locals braced for impact, securing boats and reinforcing homes. I joined Jose, a seasoned fisherman, helping him double-tie his boat and fortify his roof. As night fell and the winds grew fierce, he turned to me. Come stay with my family. No good being alone in a storm. At his modest home inland, his wife, Mariana, welcomed me with food. His children watched me curiously. In the kitchen, a woman stirred a pot on the stove. My sister-in-law, Camila, Jose said. Her husband, my brother, died 3 years ago. Fishing accident. Camila gave me a small nod, her eyes holding the quiet strength of someone who had endured her own storm. That night, the hurricane hit with primal force. Without electricity, we huddled in the living room, listening to a crackling radio. When a loud crash rattled the house, Camilla flinched, her hand brushing my shoulder. She didn't move it, and I didn't move away. By morning, the island was wrecked. Uprooted trees, shattered docks, capsized boats. The entire community mobilized for recovery. At the marina, Salt Runner had survived. Others hadn't been so lucky. I worked alongside the locals organizing rescue efforts. Someone called me the stubborn gringo who isn't afraid of storms. It wasn't mockery, it was respect. That evening, exhausted, I turned on my phone. A message from Elena Whitaker. Heard about the hurricane. Tried calling, no answer. I'm coming to Nassau. If you're okay, let me see you. If not, at least I tried. My fingers hovered over the screen. I'm alive. Salt runner slip. Come if you want. She arrived the next afternoon, wind-tousled, wearing a simple sundress. No embrace. Just a nod as she climbed aboard. Beer? I asked. God, yes. We sat at the bow, watching the shoreline clean up. She didn't ask about Richmond, or Lauren, or the divorce. And I didn't ask why she'd come back. Instead, she simply said, "You're still the decent man I thought you were. Maybe even more." So now, a week later, I rented a small house near the harbor and opened my laptop. Hank had protected my stake in the company during the divorce. Now he had a proposal. And maybe, just maybe, I had a future after all. During our video call, the non-resident partner suggested I oversee Caribbean projects remotely. The board couldn't object. My engineering expertise was undeniable, and Russell's influence had waned since that anonymous tip about his past leaked. I considered it. I don't want to be the boss anymore, Hank. I just want to be the best engineer I can be. Then be that, he said, on your terms. Elena extended her stay, then extended it again. We took the Salt Runner out on day trips, sometimes with Camilla and Jose's family, sometimes just the two of us. We never defined how long this arrangement would last, just an unspoken understanding that we were rebuilding. Not just a relationship, but ourselves. One evening, as I worked on a new marina design for Freeport, Elena sat beside me on the porch. "I've been offered a teaching position at the University of Miami," she said. "Marine biology department." My chest tightened. "Congratulations." "It's a 3-hour flight," she added. "Or a 2-day sail. The Salt Runner could make it in good weather." "I'm not asking you to follow me," she said. "I'm just saying distance doesn't have to mean ending." I thought about all the distances I'd traveled. From Virginia to Nassau, from married to divorced, from broken to whatever I was now. "I'd like to visit," I said finally. "See if Miami has any engineering projects worth my time." Her smile was worth everything I had lost. Later that night, I stood on the porch staring at the ocean. The stars reflected on the water, so different from the chaos of the storm that had upended my life. I thought about Lauren, about our sons, cautiously reconnecting through texts, about the life I had left behind. For 30 years, I'd been Derek Callahan, husband, father, company man. Now I was just Derek, engineer, sailor, survivor. Somehow that felt like enough. 6 months later, Elena and I stood barefoot on the sand as the sun dipped toward the horizon. No elaborate wedding, just linen clothes, ocean breezes, and 2 people choosing to start again. Jose and Camilla were our witnesses. Cody and Elliot stood beside me, wearing identical grins. Kristen held her daughter, now babbling and crawling. Hank sent a video toast. "To the most stubborn engineer who finally found happiness by letting go." The ceremony was brief. The celebration lasted until dawn. Days later, I stood at the bow of the Salt Runner, watching the sunset paint the ocean in gold. Elena was below deck, preparing for our 3-day sail to Miami. Her new beginning, my next project. Life circles back on itself. Endings become beginnings, if you survive long enough to see the transformation. I once believed I had lost everything, but sometimes only by losing do we discover what truly belongs to us. I turned as Elena emerged, handing me a mug of coffee. She leaned against the railing, her gaze following mine out to sea. "Ready?" The question held more than our journey tomorrow. It held the weight of every uncertain future stretched before us. "Yes," I said, and this time I meant it. As the sky deepened to purple, we stepped inside, not beneath storm clouds, but beneath the promise of a new day waiting just beyond the horizon.